Hello and welcome to Bosch Power Tools. So today we have with us a Bosch toolkit. So this is a multi-purpose toolkit for all our day-to-day activities. So let's try to understand what this is. So this is a Bosch GSB 500 RE kit. Okay. So let's try to understand what's there in the kit. So a lot of information on the sleeve. So let's try to understand from the sleeve what we have. So as you see, it's Bosch. It's a professional series. So it's meant for all the professional work that you do. It's an impact drill. It is a GSB 500 RE, so which means GSB stands for an impact drill in Bosch terminology. 500 stands for the wattage of the motor or the tool, so that's why it's 500. RE stands for reversible, which means you can do it for screwdriving application, and E stands for electronic, which means as you press the trigger more and more, the RPM of the tool would increase, and similarly it would also decrease as you release the trigger. Right. So this is the photo of the tool that is inside. So we surely see that the various accessories that's put inside the box, we will unbox it and see what are the accessories and what are the different applications of this. Yeah, this is something pretty important. So this is a QR code. So this is for scanning and registering you. You can register yourself onto a Be Connected. All right. So this QR code is important. All right. So what's on the back side of the tool? So a lot of information here as well, but more towards the technical features and the applications of the tool. So what is the application that we see? We are drilling into a brick wall, we are drilling into wood, we are drilling into metal. So which means most of our day-to-day activities are covered and taken care of with these three broad applications, right? So here we talk about the features. So as I told you, so this is the forward reverse, also meant as a screw driving function. The tool is double insulated, which means it's protecting you from all the electrical shocks. The input power is 500, we spoke of that. The chuck is a keyed chuck. The speed of the machine starts from 0 and goes all the way up to 2500 RPM. What is the maximum dia it can drill in a masonry or a brick wall? That's 10 mm. The maximum diameter in wood is 20. The maximum diameter it can drill in metal is 8 mm. So this is the impact rate. So which means that the blows that it's going to hit on the brick wall when you're putting it on the impact mode, and that is 25,700. All right, blows per minute. So that's the maximum it can deliver. What's the weight of the machine? It's 1.5 kg. So that's the weight of the machine, right? So all the features out here, and we will unbox and see what's inside. Okay, so let's see what's inside. So first thing what we have with us is a box, hard box, very robust. It can be used for all the rough applications and outdoor activities as well. So here we go. So first we have a user manual followed by a warranty card, right? So what's in here? So first and foremost is the tool. So the tool is here, GSB 500 RE. Then there is a sprit level, there is an adjustable wrench, there is a plier, there is a hammer, there are different sizes of sockets. Then we have a utility knife, then there is a holder. So this holder is basically for screwdriver bits as well as for the sockets over here. So this holder is multi-purpose. We have a measuring tape out here, and what's out here are different kinds of drill bits. So now you see this drill bits are for wood, the first set of drill bits. The one that's more silvery in color, so they are basically for masonry. The one towards the last are basically for metal. All right, and this one over here, so these are plastic plugs, so which are used for fixing various things onto the wall. So these plugs are coming of various sizes, and each of them are let's say a combination of 10. So they have a plug as well as a screw. So so this is a 4 mm plug, this is a 5 mm, and this is a 8 mm plug. Okay, so all of them come with their own respective screws. And of course, yes, the cable and the socket both are ISI marked, so they are BIS compliant. So we talk about the tool now. So what is the tool out here? So the tool is Bosch Professional GSB 500 RE. All right. So this has got a 10 mm chuck. So this is the body. So this is the on-off switch or the trigger switch, as you may call it. Okay. And this one is pretty important. So this knob decides as to what is the selection that you're doing for your activity, which means are you drilling on wood and metal or you're drilling on a brick wall. So if you're drilling on wood and metal, so the red color knob needs to be on this side. So there is a sign here which only marks that it's a drill bit. And when you move the knob to this extreme, so here you will find a sign of hammer. So which means, so this is in hammering mode, and this mode is used only for your brick wall or for light concrete. So based on what substance or the material on which you are drilling, you need to select this knob. All right. Yeah. So then we come to the trigger switch. So it's also called as on-off switch. So we can on and that may go off. Right. Okay. And this is the lock-on switch, which means that after I've triggered it on, I put this in the lock mode. So that means the machine is going to keep running throughout. Okay. And how do I disengage? I need to press this and leave it. So it gets disengaged, right? And this small switch, a knob at the bottom, this is for your direction of screw driving. So it's a forward motion or the reverse motion. You can choose both of them as the application is. So what else have we got? And we have a chuck key. Okay. So chuck key is very, very important to tighten the chuck. Okay. So we just tighten it with a drill bit. So we just put this in. Yeah. Then we tighten it with our hands a bit. Now it's tightened, but it's not fully tightened. We still need to use the chuck key. So there are 3 holes. So we need to tighten all the 3 holes of the chuck. 1, 2, and this is 3. And then the chuck key goes back into its slot. Are we sure it's fully tightened? Yes, it's fully tightened. All right. Yeah. So now we'll talk about the cable. So the socket out here is a normal 2-pin socket, which can go on all your home as well as your residential or official offices, wherever you have the same sockets are used. So you can use that. So the socket and the cable, both of them have ISI logo, which means they are BIS compliant. So there's no problem with that. And then we start the tool. So you would find that as I trigger the tool more, the RPM would increase. Okay, and it's also going to get noisier. So that's how the tool works. So let's see how it works. So I'm plugging this into the live connection. All right. So there we go. So just listen to the sound. We might get into a situation where we want to identify what are these different bits for and how do we identify, because all of them more or less look the same. So how do we know that which drill bit is being used for what purpose? Is it for metal, wood, or for brick? So a very, very simple technique. I will teach you how to do that. Okay. So let's try to understand this. I'll pick the first drill bit. So this is for wood. Okay. So let's understand about the wood drill bit. So how do you identify a wood drill bit? So this has got the sharpest cone here. So if I'm going to press with my finger, I feel the prick. So that means this drill bit is for wood. So all for wooden applications. And the very purpose that this cone is given is basically to get yourself centered into the wood. All right, centered into the wood. So that's the drill bit for wood. As simple as that. So among these three drill bits, there is a drill bit that's going to be totally blunt, which means I'm trying to press it. No, it's okay. I'm not getting hurt. I don't feel any uncomfortable situation. So this drill bit is for your brick wall. All right. And there is a third drill bit. It's somewhere between sharp cone and somewhere between a blunt cone. So I'm trying to put this. Yes, so there is a slight irritation that I feel, and that is this drill bit is for metal. Okay, so again we try to understand all three of them. So the one with the sharpest and the cone, this is for wood. The one that's totally blunt, this is for your brick wall or light concrete. The one in between them, so that's on the medium sharpness, this is for your metal. So that's as simple as that. Even if you have misplaced something on this thing, with the sharpness of the drill bit, you can find out which is the correct product or the accessory that you need to use for that particular application. Let's get into understanding, so what are the various applications that this tool can do. So what we have picked up right now is GSB 500 RE, and what I have fixed to this is a wood drill bit. All right. So as I have told you earlier, so the wood drill bit is going to be sharp, and this sharp tip is basically for pivoting into the wood, so that it gets pivoted, so it goes directly inside. So that's one of the key things about a wood drill bit. Okay. So let's try to drill. Okay. So before we start drilling, few things to check. Is this in the normal drill mode? Yes, it's in the normal drill mode. Is it fixed well, the drill bit? It's fixed well. This is in the forward action, so that means we can drill. All right. So let's start. So whenever we drill on any material, we need to start from a lower RPM. So that's what we do right now. So we place it here and we drill at a lower RPM. So it gets pivoted and then we go full speed. So we have finished drilling. So let's get into a screw driving. So we take out the drill bit and then fix the screwdriver bit. Right. If you're doing too many of the holes, the drill bit may be hot. So watch out for that. So here we put the extended holder. So this is the hex holder. So we fix this in. All right. So that's done. So again we tighten. Yes, it's tightened. So let's pick up a screwdriver bit. So screw driving is a tricky application, which means you need to work always on the low RPM. Don't use a higher RPM. Okay, so always use a lower RPM. So here we go. So that's fixed, and you want to unscrew this, so change the direction. We have done that, and then we fix it here. Okay, so that's out. So again we want to screw that in. That's it. We start this application, so where we are trying to do a screw driving activity or a self tapping activity with help of a say hex headed screw. All right. So here is the tool that we have. And this is the socket that we have, that's part of the kit, and this is the adapter. So we fix the adapter first, all right, and then the socket gets into this. All right, so now it's fixed. Let's switch it off. Yep, switch it on. So we try to loosen this first and then tighten it. So we are loosening this up, and then again we tighten this. So now we'll see the working in metal. The tool that we have is GSB 500 RE. So let's see, before that let's wear the glasses for protection. Alright. So what we do is we start the machine and put it on the lock-on mode and then start working out here. we have here GSB 500 RE. So we'll use this machine to drill on the brick wall here. So most of the house walls or your office walls are made of this material, that's a brick. So we'll try to drill into this and see how it works. So before we drill, we need to change on what mode we are in. So this is in a basic drill mode. I'm pushing it, now it comes to the impact drill mode. So that means it's ready to work on a brick wall. Just check the direction of rotation is correct. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, this should always be clockwise. So here we go. We try to understand a very important part of the Bosch kit. Okay, and what is that? So when you bought a kit, obviously you wanted to use it on some kind of various applications. So this is an important application that we have here, how to drill onto a wall and fix something. When I'm saying fix, it's basically to anchor something. So what do you do after anchoring? After anchoring this, you can hang your curtains, wall hangings, clocks. It could be any of the sanitary stuff that you want to do, any electrical electrical fixings or attachments that you want to fix. So how do you do that? So we know this is a brick wall. Okay, now first and foremost we need to drill a hole and then fix a anchor. So two components out here. So this is a plug, so which goes inside the hole that you drill, and this is the screw. So what we do is we drill a hole first, okay, and then we put the anchor inside, and then the screw goes inside to tighten it up. So a part of the screw would still remain outside, that means it would protrude from the surface. So it's on that surface you can do some hanging, or you want totally flushed, then you can do the screw totally inside so that it gets totally flushed with the wall. So that's the thing that you can always do. So before you drill a hole, the most important thing that you need to find out is the size of the anchor. So the size of the anchor, this is an 8 mm anchor, this is a 8 mm drill bit as well. Okay, so they have to match. So the drill bit and anchor diameter has to match. So that's what we are trying to do now here. So we drill a 8 mm hole and then fix the anchor. As we go along, we explain more of that. So first let's drill. So we put this in the hammer mode. Yes, it's on. Yeah, perfect. So let's drill. So the first activity is over, we have drilled a hole and this is good enough. Second, we need to fix the anchor in it. So how do you do it? Just very simple. If you find this is slightly more dusty, just make sure that you remove the dust. Okay, this is the right way to remove the dust. Okay, and then just plug in and insert it with your hand. You see, now this is totally flushed, so the anchor is totally inside. All right. After this, I told you with this we are not able to achieve anything. Okay, so the screw has to go into this so that you want to hang something and things like that. So the anchor is pretty good, so it has a lot of load bearing capacity, and so you also need to use the good quality screws so that it can take the load bearing. So what I do is you can put this inside. All right, this is not good enough, you still need a screwdriver to tighten this up. It should have gone fairly inside so that there is no ply. Okay, this is good enough, it will still take a lot of load, but I want this to go further inside, so I do a few more rounds of screwdriving. Right, now look at this, this is a perfect thing. All right, so it can take very good load. Right, so now we have fixed this, and this can take some good weight. You can hang something on this, or you can fix something onto this. So that's how it works. So that's the anchoring process on a brick wall with an impact drill. Hello and welcome back. So we will talk about some frequently asked questions on these topics. And these questions are very useful to all the people who want to use power tools and do various kinds of applications and various kinds of usages in wood, metal, or brick for that matter. So the most commonly asked question is, what is the difference between a GSB and a GBM? So this is a typical nomenclature that Bosch follows. I'm sure you go through the catalog or you go through any portal, then you understand that these two are listed and more or less they look the same, but you are not able to find the finer difference between them. So let's try to understand what they are. A GBM is basically a very, very basic rotary drill. Okay, so which means when I'm saying a rotary drill, so all the GBM machines are suitable for working on wood and metal. So I'm saying again, it's suitable for working on wood and metal. So what is a GSB? Okay, so GSB is a tool that can work on wood and metal, that's for sure. There is one more component that's added to the tool, and that's the impact mechanism. And the impact mechanism is through ratchet and sleeve, which means that it's going to create small impacts like this when you're drilling on a brick or a light concrete. Okay, so when we are drilling in brick or light concrete, so a normal drilling will not make you go inside the material. So it is this impact force that's very crucial in creating that groove that we make on the brick or a concrete. So it works like this, and it is this impact that helps us in drilling into a concrete or a brick wall. So there's another popular question that keeps coming up quite often. Is GSB tool good enough to work on light concrete or on a brick wall? But the question is, does it work on a concrete? The answer is yes. Okay, but the answer yes comes with an asterisk. What does it mean? So all the GSB tools, so the very nomenclature GSB is an impact drill. So all these impact drills are 100% suitable for working on brick wall, and they can also be used on light concrete. But that means that you're drilling on the light concrete sometimes during the day, right? Not a regular thing. But if somebody wants to do regular working on concrete, okay, we strongly recommend please use our Bosch hammers starting with GBH series. So any GBH hammer is highly recommended for working on concrete beams, pillars or columns, right? Yeah. So the next question that comes up frequently to us is, what are the best practices to keep the tool long lasting? All right. So what we need to do to keep it long lasting? This is like saying what are the preventive maintenance that we need to follow to make sure that the tool gives its maximum life or maximum benefits to us. So first and foremost is the tool has to be kept in dry and cool place, which means it should be away from moisture. That's something important. Second is it has to be away from dust also. So what do we do? So every time the work is done, so make sure that you're putting the tools back into this hard boxes and seal them properly, right? So that's important. There can also be instances, let's say you're not using the tool for months together, all right? So you have used it today and probably you're picking up the tool after 3 months or 6 months or maybe after an year also. So what do you do? So what we do is, in that case, you don't start the tool, you pick up a tool and start drilling. No, you don't do that. So what you do is, just observe me what you do. This tool does not go onto the job for work, okay? So you need to run at no load speed, right? So I'm stressing again, you need to run at the no load speed. So this is what I do. So what have I done now, right now? I triggered it on, all right? It was at a very low RPM, so let it run in low RPM for a few seconds. And then I increase the RPM and then I give it a full RPM, full throttle, and then it runs at full RPM for maybe, let's say, a minute or so. Why do we do that? Because we all know there would be grease on these gears. Okay, so if you're not used for quite some time, maybe the grease has become slightly hardened. Okay, so you need to do this in a very slow RPM so that the grease starts moving, and as the grease starts melting and you run the full RPM. So that means with that heat and friction, the grease has got covered all over the gears that you have, and that lubrication is good enough for the tool to start running. So that's first and foremost. Second thing, so when you are using the tool after a long time, or even for what is the maintenance that you need to do before you place it somewhere, make sure you check the cables. Cables are not brittle, and they won't be brittle because these are rubberized cables. So just check the cables are okay. Just check if the switch is okay. Also, please check the chuck. Okay, and most important thing is you need to keep the chuck key back into the slot. So most often people tend to misplace this. So put this back into the slot. So I think if you follow this, you have done a pretty good job for keeping the tool for a long-lasting tenure. So I get this question quite often saying that there are sparks coming out of the tool, all right? And when the first time people use it, they find the sparks and they say, oh, what happened? Is the tool okay or something wrong with the way I'm using it? It's perfectly okay, okay? So when you use these tools for the first time, now look at this. This is a carbon brush. Slightly getting technical right now, but then that's for the understanding, better understanding. So whenever this carbon brush comes in contact with the commutator of the armature, it's but natural to have sparks on the edges. Okay, that would only be for first few hours of use that you get the sparking, and once the groove settles to the same shape of the commutator, the spark would reduce substantially. So whenever you're using a new tool, not only this impact drill series of Bosch, any of the Bosch new tools, the sparking is but natural, but don't worry about this. After a few hours of use, the sparking will go away. Nothing to worry. Okay. This is something that we face in our Indian subcontinent, and this is a regular thing that we face, rusting of this drill bits, all right. It's okay for the drill bits to rust. Don't worry too much about that. If you find a drill bit slightly rusted, or maybe 50% of it rusted, nothing to worry. Why I'm saying this? Only thing is maybe the appearance of the drill bit becomes different, but functionally the drill bit is perfectly nice and good enough to work on any surfaces. It has no bearing on the working of the drill bit itself. So it's perfectly okay if the drill bits are rusted. You might find some drill bits rusted during delivery, that's okay. Or even after a few years of usages, you might find some of them rusted, nothing to worry. You can still continue with the work. It hardly matters to the output of the work that you're going to do, right? Yeah. So the question that keeps coming to us again is, what's the difference between a GSB 10RE and a GSB 13RE? Both the nomenclatures look the same, so there's only the numerical difference between 10 and 13. So for example, let's pick up this tool. So this is a GSB 13RE. So what's special about this tool? So when we see the number 13, so this denotes that's the size of the chuck. So what you have here is a 13 mm chuck. All right, and what you have here, so this is a GSB 10RE. Now this has got a 10 mm chuck. Please see the chuck size in both of them. I'm sure you will understand the size of the chucks are different. Okay, so this is a 10 mm chuck on GSB 10RE, and this is the 13 mm chuck on GSB 13RE. All right, and one more difference of GSB 13RE is, so the grip here is rubberized. That's for fatigue free working. All right, now you see this grip, it's totally rubberized.